little history, and I'm not going to take up the entire 2 hours. I just wanted to, Vector is approximately 30 years old. So as a founder, I've been with Vector for a long time. Um, and the we started at the turn of the microcomputer age. And so we were actual pioneers, not only in terms of training, but um, even before that, we were pioneers in terms of servicing microcomputers, which at that time was almost a mystery to a lot of persons. In terms of the training side, of course, we started, Vector actually evolved out of the training department of Vector Design Limited. And we started with very short courses. The demand was so overwhelming at the time. We grew very quickly into longer certificates, diplomas, and we kept going to the point where we are at 4-year degrees, and we are not done yet. Because right now our eyes are set on graduate programs as well. But we, as a pioneer in the field, we had to battle through a number of issues because there was no standardization at the time. And of course, when you have no standardization, of course, there's confusion, and so you have to look and see where the market is going, who are the dominant players in the market, and that's something we have done very well. We have done it very well in terms of our the type of strategies we have developed and tried to keep slightly ahead of the market at all times. So much of the programs that when we deliver these programs, it's because we have studied it. We have studied the market. We try to not I want to say predict, and even although we were predicting before AI became a thing, but that's what we did, because curriculum development takes a while. So even when we start to advertise a program, it means that it had been in development for at least a year or more. So unlike many of the educational institutions that might offer IT, our journey was different. So we came from the industry, and unlike everybody else who came from being trainers or educational institutions who then decided to take on IT, we lived, breathe, and we did breed and still breed IT. It's almost in our bloodline. No, having said that, we have not dropped our the involvement that we have in IT, and as was mentioned, when the IT Service Alliance, which included companies like IBM, Fujitsu, and all the players that in terms of IT service, Vector Technology Institute, through its own involvement, was the institution that led that group. So that just sort of gives you an idea of who we are, how people view us, and so on. As you say, our mantra is transforming education to careers. And our main thing is to ensure that persons, when they come to Vector, within a year or so, they become, they acquire the skills and competencies to begin to serve in the industry. And we try and do this as quickly as they can. And hence the reason why we have adopted the the strategy of including certifications within our programs. We were the first to do it, and we are still one of the only institution that has committed to ensuring that this is the case. So, as I said, you know, we are into workforce building, especially for the IT field. So you'll of course see this, of course, as well, in terms of the fact that we try and stay ahead of the curve. Because when COVID came, we are already doing online and teaching online, because it's something we had actually planned before COVID. It's almost like we knew that COVID was coming and it was going to impact the entire landscape in terms of education, training, and learning. And so we did it because we knew what or how technology could benefit the whole learning experience. And the fact that we know that most of our learners were actually working in the field, and hence ensuring that we could provide a means that if students took advantages of all the advantages of the technology, they could have a very successful career while at the same time pursuing a successful, the academic background to support that career. So that is one of the things that we actually do, and we still are committed to that. So in everything that we're doing now, we're trying to ensure that persons can start their journey and through different pathways. You can see that in our programs, because we're noticing the changes that's occurring, and we also know what's happening in our education space, so that persons can actually start and not be refused entry, but at the same time they can start get on a pathway, and then even switch if they want to go into the academic pathway. And of course, many people do that. And so we want to make sure we facilitate all of these things. So it's not just about learning in a vacuum. We know that you're learning for a purpose. All right. So whatever journey that you took to get here, there is a pathway for you. And that's kind of critical, you know. So I just want to just quickly just say again, welcome to everyone. And when you start at Vector, don't look at it as school, all right? Don't look at it as school. Look at it as another way, or that you are actually on the pathway to building your career, because this is not like like at school when you just learn a subject so that you can go and take another exam and thing. This is, you're learning because you're going to be using it, you're going to be developing your skills, developing your competencies, and in the very short term it pays off, right? It pays off. All right, folks. So I just want to, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing Vector. And you're going to hear from some really good persons, in tonight's information session. All right. So thank you again.
All right, Dr. Mar, thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So as Dr. Mar alluded to the fact that, you don't just look at doing or attending Vector as, like an educational struggle, right? Because it's not one of those institutions. And I can tell you as a graduate myself, um, anything that you do at Vector, practicality makes sense and is something that you will be using out there. You'll get to learn and understand how modular the entire program can be that will ultimately benefit you and help to build like your work experience even while you're studying, right? So you'll get to understand a little bit of these, right? So without any further delay, um, we're gonna be segueing into, trying to get a little bit more information as it relates to the academic programs themselves, the outlines and so on. And here to present that information is Miss Allen, Miss Eugenie Allen, who is our registrar here at Vector Technology Institute. So Miss Allen, if you're ready, you're up.
Okay, good afternoon. Are you hearing me now?
Clearly, clearly.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm apologizing for some little technical difficulties I had. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll endorse the welcome extended so far. I'm happy to see so many people responding and paying attention to what we have. What you see on the screen is a quick outline of the programs that we have on offer here at Vector. What are they? We'll go into that. But we want to let you know, as you see here, Vector's academic programs are delivered based on standards dictated to us by the University Council of Jamaica, UCJ. Our programs aim to provide a high quality education to individuals who are seeking to build a career in information and communication technology. What are our current offerings? We have the Bachelor of Science in Information and Communication Technology. We call it the BSICT, which is accredited by the UCJ. What would be the career considerations for that? Just two examples, Information Systems Manager and Network Systems Engineer. Of course, you'll hear more as Mr. Powell told you, all our lecturers, everybody else who is going to speak will delve deeper into. We also offer the Bachelor of Science in Technology Management, the BSTM, also accredited by the UCJ. And for that, armed with that, you would look to do something like Management Information Systems Manager or a Business Systems Analyst. Next, we have the Associate of Science in Computer Systems Technology, the ACST, also accredited by the UCJ. Having pursued that, you would be quite ready to slide into Network Systems Administrator or a help desk and technical support specialist. We next move on to the Diploma in Computer Systems Technology, the DCST. That is certified by the Computing Technology Industry Association, which we know as CompTIA. And with that, you're looking to be a field service technician or an IT support administrator, among other things. Our software programming offerings include the Associate of Science in Software Programming, the ASSP, for a website developer or mobile applications developer, which is very trendy now. We also offer the Diploma in Software Programming, the DSP. And for that, we look at website designer, computer graphics designer. The big boy we have is the Advanced Diploma for Cybersecurity Analyst, ADCA. And this too is very trendy for cybersecurity analyst or security analyst. The entrance level for academic programs here at Vector, the entrance level is the diploma, which is a one-year program. And from that, you may advance to the two-year associate. For the technology side of the programs, you may get to the BSICT and the BSTM by doing the associate, the ACST. So here are our steps from the diploma. We move up to the associate and we get to the bachelor's. The diploma, a 1 year, the associate, 2 years, and the bachelor's you complete in the space of 4 years. So with that information in mind, we're ready for takeoff in selecting the program. So that's it from me for now. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, Miss Allen. So so earlier you would have heard me allude to the fact that the modularity of the program. So it is important to note that upon enrolling, we usually either ask for persons to enroll in maybe like the diploma or the associate degree, right? So within the first year of doing your diploma, right, you have a wonderful opportunity based off the technical subjects that you'll be doing as it relates to the IT field, right? You have a wonderful opportunity, even at the end of the first year, to have under your belt a minimum, well, at least 2. Well, I would say a minimum because the others can be dependent on, you know, your time and how you're able to take on some additional ones. But embedded in the program are two international certifications that you would be able to amass at the end of that first year, which is your diploma, right? Which is your diploma. And that, of course, anyone can tell you, right? With professional certifications, that is what really amplifies your marketability out there. That is what industry standard employers, right, really look for, right? Because what that does, what the certifications do is that they validate your experience. You're going to hear a little bit more about that in terms of our affiliation with some of the certification bodies, right? Like CompTIA that you would have heard about a little bit from a little bit earlier. And of course, like Cisco. So right off the bat, if it is a case you started and you say, all right, then fine, you want to take a little time and start to even finance your own way throughout the rest of the programs, right? Right off the bat after your first year, if you're up to the challenge and up to the task, of course, you are able to finish your diploma, get those 2 international certifications based off, you know, your performance in the related courses. And of course, start putting yourself out there. You can actually start applying for some entry-level jobs that will actually have you earn enough money that can really and truly help you to finance your way through the rest of the programs, right? So you're looking at two certifications that you'll be able to get at the end of the first year. And of course, as you go along, you progress through the associate, you progress through the bachelor's degree, then of course the opportunity presents itself for more certification as you see fit, right? But we're just talking about, so you do that first year as the diploma, then you maybe apply for the associate degree, or even after that, if you want to go ahead and apply for the associate degree. So within that 2 years, you're able to get all of the necessaries to get you functioning, not only academically, but in your professional work life, right? And then, of course, the 3rd and 4th year would have completed, or, well, not completed, would have been the final 2 years for the bachelor's degree, right? So what we're going to do, you heard me talk about the certifications. I'm going to actually ask now Mr. Lloyd Brown to come and speak to us as it relates to Vector Technologies Association with the ICT industry, as well as the global certification bodies like CompTIA and Cisco and so forth. So just before I ask Mr. Brown to take over, let me just give you a brief little background on Mr. Brown. He's one of our esteemed, right, instructors, you know, well experienced, has a vast array of knowledge, right, as it relates to IT and ICT. So Mr. Brown holds a bachelor's degree, right, in engineering that he had attained from the University of Technology, Jamaica, and has held certifications such as the A+, Network Plus, Linux Plus, CCNA, Security Plus, Cisco, Cyber Ops, right? And then, of course, the CYSA Plus. He also holds an international teaching diploma an international diploma in teaching and training, right? He worked in telecommunications with the then Jamaica Telephone Company. I don't know how many of us, well, as invited guests, would remember that company, right? So Mr. Brown served in several capacities, including training officer and manager of the technical training for all 14 Caribbean territories in which Lime operated, right? Mr. Brown, I hand it over to you.
Thank you, Andre. All right, thanks again and welcome everyone. Let me know, please, if you're seeing my screen, and also if you're hearing me.
Audio check, screen share check.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, so as Andre had indicated, today I'll be talking about Vector Technologies Association with the ICT industry, and also a little on the global certification bodies. So let's jump right into it. Right, so I know many persons here would be trying to decide. Some might have already decided on a path, you know, where do you go? And as you try to make that decision, you're looking for directions and asking questions. And of course, it is always good to have a map, an idea as to where you want to go. And then the next best thing is to know a guy who has a map, right? And Vector is an institution that has a map as to how to transform education into careers in the ICT industry. And as I go through this and talk about the association, the industry and the global certification bodies, I will also talk about how that map all comes together. So the start this slide here with this is how we do it. And you might know this right? So the president, Dr. Wade Marr, as you would have heard earlier, is very in tune and aligned with the industry. And being so immersed in the industry, he's able to hear from the industry leaders in corporate and also in government as to where they would like to take the ICT industry of Jamaica in the near future and also a little further than the near future. And as such, he is able to use that to provide guidance to the institution as to what are the things we should be doing, how the programs are to be designed and implemented. Now, there is also an advisory board. So Vector has a number of individuals who form our advisory board, and from time to time, on some regular basis, we would have discussions with those persons, and they would then share their insight about what is it the industry is looking for in new joiners, where is the industry going, what are the trends, and those insights are also fed into the design and implementation of our programs. And you know, as I mentioned about the map, this is a part of that map. You know, what are the things we would need to be doing in order to be able to take us to where we want to go and also take our students to where they want to go. Now, some of the things that we would ask as we try to determine the design of our programs, you know, what skills do you require today? And these are questions we'd be asking of the industry experts. What are the skills you likely would require tomorrow? Or how many open positions for such skills, and what you have now and what do you anticipate and what are the trends? Now, in addition to the president and the advisory board, our instructors also play a pivotal role in terms of the insights, because our instructors are players in the industry. They are currently working in the industry, and they take that insight that they have into the classroom and are able to provide that information as they deliver the content and for the students. Now, in addition, Vector also has an internship program. This internship program allows students to participate in an industry, in an organization for a period of time as a part of their learning. This therefore allows our students to gain that early knowledge as to what is happening in the industry and get comfortable with working in the industry. Those students, when they come back to their regular programming, they're also able to share that with other students and therefore continue that process of insight building as to what the industry wants. Vector also has a number of learning partners. These learning partners are organizations that have their own academic programs that they build out, usually in the form of certifications. But the content from those learning partners form a part of our course content, therefore ensuring that the content being delivered is not just about what happens in Jamaica, but we get a very global view as to what is happening all over the world. And you know, for example, we have here Cisco, which is a global networking organization. They build networking devices, they build servers, and they have built training programs around all of that. U-Certify is a similar organization. While they do not build devices, but they have built training content which may come from any vendor, and we are able to access that as part of our program. And you've also heard about CompTIA. CompTIA is an organization that has a very broad base in terms of the areas of certification that they are involved in. And you see a little more on that in a slide I have coming up. And then there's VMware. Today, you might hear a lot about the cloud, and things are saved in the cloud. VMware is an organization that pioneered the concept of virtualization. Virtualization is a software tool that the cloud absolutely depends on. Without virtualization, the cloud would never exist. And VMware is a pioneer in virtualization, and therefore play a very huge role in cloud solutions. So the certification bodies offer certifications, and I just did a dictionary or internet search on the word certifications and what exactly they are, and I have 3 separate definitions here. I won't read through them. I know you, while I'm talking, you might be looking at them, but some important points that come out of these 3 is there are credentials that are earned. They usually look at job performance, and there is usually an exam that you would need to pass to earn these certifications, right? Now, you would have heard earlier, if you were in the very early set before we kicked off officially, these certification bodies are certified or validated by the U.S. Department of Defense Directive 8570 or 8140. Now, just to share a little about those directives, because the United States want to ensure that its military and all its federal forces are getting information that is at the cutting edge of technology, they have created these directives that says all certification bodies must ensure that the information being assessed in the certification has to be at least or at most 3 years old. So it cannot be older than that. And this is why you would hear that many of these certifications, after 3 years, they expire, and you would need to do a resit of the certification in order to say you have a current certification in that particular area of study. So having introduced these certifications in our programs, it ensures that Vector's program is not just meeting the standard of the UCJ, but it is also meeting international standards that is at the current pace of technology. So these are some of the organizations, and I've listed a few of the certifications. So for Cisco, you would have heard of the CCNA, which is the Cisco Certified Network Associate. This is a certification that validates that the candidate is able to work on a small to medium-sized network, be able to troubleshoot and deploy such network, including routers, switches, load balancers, and then Cisco also has the cyber ops, which is the cybersecurity operations specialist. This certification looks at managing the security of an organization, being able to assess whether it is secure. If it is not, being able to remediate the breach and resolve problems and bring it back to normalcy. There's also the Fiber Optic Association, the FOA. This looks at the fiber cabling of from telecommunications companies and also within corporate organizations. And Vector does have a certification that is offered through the using the content of the FOA. And then I've talked about VMware, and VMware, as I had mentioned, it looks at virtualization. And one of the programs that Vector offers is the data center virtualization program. Then there is CompTIA. Of the certification bodies that are listed here, CompTIA has the broadest set of certifications. And I've listed only 3 here, but there are several more. There's the A+ that looks at someone who is entering the ICT industry. This kind of person is able to maintain a network, be able to provide end user support looking at things like mobile, desktops, desktops running different operating systems, Windows, Linux. And then the Network Plus takes it more into some devices that only persons in IT will be exposed to, the routers, the switches, how these operate, how they interconnect, how they allow other devices on the network to communicate. And there's also the Security Plus, which looks at the implementation of security on a network and also the troubleshooting and resolution of problems. So these are some of the certifications that are offered by these global certification bodies. And just to emphasize again that directive from the DoD, the 8570 and the 8140, that says that content being assessed must be within 3 years. Therefore, once we are talking about certification, you know that the content is at the cutting edge. You're getting the latest information in terms of the industry. Right? Right, so that takes me to the end of my talk. I do hope, having gone through and listened to these presentations, you get a broader view as to what is on offer and how it can assist you in becoming the ICT person you want to be. Thank you. Over to you, Andre.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you very much. All right, I don't remember if I had mentioned it at the top of the session. So we're going to have a question and answer session that you can actually field your questions and so on. So while the presentations are taking place, if you could just make note of any questions that you have, and definitely we'll address them at the end, right? So we actually have a question and answer session. So thanks, Mr. Brown. So you would have been hearing about the diplomas, the associate degree, the bachelor's degree, right? And largely so far regarding the certifications, the information and communications technology degree, the BSTM, which is the Bachelor of Science Technology Management, as well as the computer systems academic program. But definitely what I'm going to do now is kind of flip the script a little bit and bring you over to the software engineering side of stuff, right? The software engineering side of stuff. So what I'm going to do now is ask Mr. Howard James, one of our next esteemed lecturers, to come and just, well, he's one of them that teaches a few of the programs within, not a few of the programs, a few of the courses within the software engineering program. And he, of course, will have speak about the industry as well as some of the global certifications that you can achieve or set yourself to attain, right? So let me just do a quick little introduction of Mr. Howard James. So He's an experienced senior programmer analyst with over 15 years of experience in the development and maintenance of software solutions in a variety of programming languages. So he's a recipient of a Master of Philosophy in Computer Science and he holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer and Management Studies, right? So he's one of our top lecturers again. Even though, how would I put it? He has been with us in I would say maybe a short time, but he has certainly made his mark. And has earned really and truly his stripes as being a part of the Vector family. So without any further ado, I'm gonna ask Mr. James to step forward and make his presentation.
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, Howard James, and I'll be providing insight into the software engineering industry and global certification. Please confirm if you're hearing and seeing my screen?
Yes, man, loud and clear.
Okay, great. Okay. So we will begin by looking at what is software engineering. This is a branch of computer science that is concerned with the design, development, testing, and maintenance of software applications. Now, software engineers create software solutions using engineering principles and knowledge of programming languages. As technology continues to evolve, there is a growing need for software developers. Now, what careers are there in software engineering? Two common software engineering jobs are applications developers and system developers. The application developer is responsible for designing and coding functional software programs and applications. They will collaborate with teams to set specifications, write high-quality code, conduct testing, and troubleshoot applications. Now, system developers perform tasks related to the design, development, modification, and administration of software systems and applications. They identify and assess user needs or project requirements and design or configure systems and programs that meet those needs. Other common roles include mobile developers, application architects, quality assurance analysts, and database administrators. To look at two of those other roles, the application architect. This profession will manage application development and troubleshooting. They may work with clients on planning and designing applications or oversee a team of developers addressing coding or programming issues as they arise. The software quality assurance analyst is responsible for ensuring the quality and reliability of software applications throughout the development lifecycle. A software QA analyst's responsibility includes formulating and creating testing strategies for software programs, covering the entire development process, assess program functionality and performance in accordance with the devised testing strategies, resolve any issues, and strategize preventative measures for future concerns. What careers are there in software engineering? So career opportunities in software engineering are driven by new technologies in the automotive industry, aviation, data management, telecommunications, factory control, robotics, defense, and security. Software engineers may develop computer games, business applications, operating systems, network controls, systems, and more. Now, in addition to designing and maintaining software systems or applications, software engineers are tasked with also creating and enforcing IT standards within an infrastructure, collaborating with development teams, senior system architects, and data science professionals, consulting with clients, engineers, security specialists, and other stakeholders, recommending software upgrades for existing programs and systems, and presenting new features to stakeholders and internal customers. Now, advancement and scope for employment. A software engineer can increase his or her salary by acquiring an advanced degree. If you're a software engineer that oversees more junior software engineers, this experience can increase the likelihood of earning more. Now, in today's borderless society, there are opportunities for software engineers to work remotely for foreign-based companies. And if I may, working for foreign-based companies, one can earn 110,000 US or more per annum. What skills do software engineers need? The most common entry-level requirements for software engineers is a bachelor's degree in computer science or software engineering. Most software engineers will need to have technical knowledge and skills such as coding languages such like Python, Java, C, C++, object-oriented programming, database architecture, operating systems, cloud computing, version control, design, testing, and debugging, and Agile and Scrum project management. Now, Agile and Scrum project management is an integrated and iterative methodology for the development and delivery of a product. It involves the feedback of the client, and it employs an empirical process where the team will respond efficiently and effectively to any requirement changes. Now, what is the future of software engineering? With our ever-increasing dependency on technology and the growing Internet of Things, the future of software engineering is bright. Software engineers are employable in nearly every industry in both large and small organizations. The career outlook for software developers, quality assurance analysts, and testers is projected to grow 25% from 2022 to 2032, much faster than average. Now let us look at global certifications in the software engineering profession. Why get certified? Certification will give one a competitive advantage, increase earning potential, supplement and grow your knowledge, and establish potential credibility. The types of certification for software engineers. There is a MySQL certification in Oracle. Now, Oracle certifications are among the most sought after badges of credibility for expertise in the information technology marketplace. An Oracle certification demonstrates that you have a solid understanding of your job role and of MySQL products. Consultants, developers, and DBAs, database administrators, use Oracle certifications on MySQL to show prospective employers and customers that they are current on the latest features, tools, and tricks. Now, there are available certifications for MySQL, the database administrator, and database developer. Another certification, the mobile web specialist certification. This can be done after the associate's or diploma in software engineering. And the provider, the certification provider, is the Google Developer Certification. And the certification is best for front-end web developers, mobile application developers, web designers with a focus on mobile, full stack developers with a mobile specialization, user interface and user experience designers with web development skills, progressive web app developers, mobile web specialist certification by Google Developers Certification validates the developer's expertise in creating responsive and flexible web applications. It focuses on key areas such as front-end web development, progressive web app, and performance optimization. Yet another is your AWS certifications. Amazon Web Services is a fundamental platform in cloud computing. AWS certifications are offered by Amazon Web Services to validate an individual's expertise in cloud architecture, engineering, and administration using AWS services. Now, these certifications are designed to recognize professionals who demonstrate the knowledge and skills to design, deploy, and to manage applications and infrastructure on AWS. As you see from the screen, there are a number of areas for certification. You have your foundational, which includes your cloud practitioner, AI practitioner, professional, role-based certification that validates advanced skills and knowledge required to design, secure, optimize, and modernize applications and to automate processes on AWS. There is the associate group, which includes your SysOp administrator, developer, and solutions architect. And you have your specialty, deep diver, and position yourself as a trusted advisor to your stakeholder and or customers in these strategic areas. Now, for the software quality analyst, acquiring the designation of certified software quality analyst indicates a professional level of competence in the principles and the practices of quality assurance in the IT profession. CSQAs become members of a recognized professional group and receive recognition of their competence by business and professional associates. Having this certification can result in potentially more rapid career advancement and greater acceptance in the role as advisory to management. You also have your Microsoft certifications. A Microsoft certification can serve as proof of your technical proficiency, particularly the skills necessary for job titles that use Microsoft technologies, such as IT specialist, software developer, technical support specialist, web developer, software tester, software engineer, and the system administrator. Microsoft offers role-based certifications for 9 main paths: administrators, AI engineers, data scientists, developers, DevOps, functional consultants, security engineers, and solution architects. It is advised that once ascertaining these certifications, that you would use your knowledge to build your portfolio so you can demonstrate your expertise to potential employers. And I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. James, for that detailed presentation. Let me tell you something. When I see this presentation, even being in the field, I'm still amazed at the fact that IT is the only career what you would call it now, that career pathway that gives you so many branches, so many opportunities that you can actually, there's so many variety. You can literally, once you have made that start, you can start to look at the direction that is more in line with your passion. And it don't matter what facet of life that you're looking at, right? We all know by now that IT is there, and you will always find something or some certification that is geared towards your passion that will help to validate your knowledge, right? And that is always a good thing. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. James. Now, so we're going to actually, so you'd have heard from the administration as it relates to the nature of the course, looking at the linkages between the industry itself, look at some of the career opportunities, look at some of the certifications that you're able to achieve during your studies, right? Or even after your studies. You know, once you go out there, you gain the experience, and now, of course, you want to actually be more specialized in the field. Now, this is where now we're going to actually, this section now is where we're going to actually segue into having presenters that are of the industry. So you would, all of the speakers thus far are speakers that are affiliated with Vector, as in currently are employed at Vector in some capacity of sorts, whether it is they are lecturers, whether it is that they are part of the admin team, whether it is, you know, you name it, right? But this is a section now still having the linkage with Vector, because among some of these speakers are past students, and we're happy to say that they are going to come to you, right? They're going to come to you, one, in the capacity of, you know, industry experts, and of course, two, in the capacity as past student of the institution that would have really and truly gone out there to make their mark and actually can come and act as testimonials for what is it that we do here at Vector, or what is it that they have done and how much it has impacted, you know, their reach so far in the industry. So I'm going to call upon Miss Allen to come and make a couple of these introductions, right? So first to begin with, so Miss Allen, I'm not sure if you want to do all the introductions one time, or you want to actually, or maybe what you could do is do the introduction for Mr. Shorter, right? First, and then afterwards, now you do both Mr. Atkinson and Mrs. Johnson, right?
I'll do them one at a time.
You'll do them one at a time. All right, great, no problem.
Mhm.
So the next speaker that we're going to have, and I'm going to ask Miss Allen to come and make an introduction, is Mr. Dorian Shorter, who is the system administrator at Proven Wealth, right? And also a past student of Vector. So he will come to you for, giving you the perspective from the industry as an industry expert and an IT consultant, right? So you can go ahead now, Miss Allen.
Thanks, Andre. Mr. Shorter, he's actually currently the Senior Enterprise Architecture Manager at Proven Group IT Shared Services. He's in charge of the Proven Group infrastructure in all regions of operation: Jamaica, Cayman, St. Lucia, British Virgin Islands, Bermuda, Canada, Barbados, and Panama. He gained valuable experience from the previously held roles of System Administrator at Proven Wealth Limited, System Administrator at Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, and CS, Computer Software Engineer at the Caribbean Maritime Institute. He's a proud 2017 graduate of Vector Technology Institute. He's the holder of a Bachelor of Science in Communications and Information Technology. He is armed with a robust skill set, including Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, research, Microsoft Excel, telecommunications, customer service, strategic management, and more. all these making him an expert in the IT industry. Please help me welcome Mr. Dorian Shorter.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you, Miss Allen, for that, and thanks, Andre. Good afternoon again. All right. Let me just start by sharing my screen here. All right, can you see my screen? Just let me know when you're seeing my screen and if you're hearing me clearly.
All right, I'm hearing you. The screen that we're looking at right now is that of just like a desktop.
Just
No,
like a
I'm seeing the
desktop,
Vector
no.
Technology Institute, the presentation. I'm actually seeing the presentation.
Oh. So I'm wondering what is up with my thing. All right, go ahead.
All right, so good afternoon again. I'm Dorian Shorter, Senior Manager, Architecture and Enterprise Architecture of the Proven Group. All right, so I just want to share with you a few career paths that you can choose from that are highly in demand in the industry, and based on what you would have learned from Vector, these are just a few of the choices that you can choose from. So I intentionally choose 6 areas. I choose one, not really saying a low area, but a starter field, which is the IT solutions officer, right? You can then move on to a network, other career path like network engineer, artificial intelligence engineer, data engineer, robotics engineer, and business intelligence analyst. These are emerging fields, as you know. Career paths and the industry all around is dynamic, and you have job paths that are really fading out and new one taking place of them. But an interesting thing Andre shared earlier on is that IT is a very dynamic field, and it doesn't matter what part you would have set your eyes on today. What matter is what you would have learned, because the same skill set that you would have, sorry, my headset died. The same skill set that you would have, as we said again, IT is a very dynamic field. So what is required for an IT solution officer? What does it really entails, or what is expected of you, right, as an IT solution? It's really just to provide end user support, system support like Gmail, M365, which is Office 365 administrator, which really entail like creation of users, password reset, those basics of stuff, file server management, Active Directory management and administrator, core system and application administration. And in sorry guys, I'm a bit nervous, haven't done something like this for a while. So in these era, what you will find is that you will also find yourself developing. So yes, they'll be new to you at first, but there will be training, you will be self-learn. And one of the great things that you will have going into these roles is the training that you would have gained from Vector, which would teach you how to troubleshoot properly, how to research, and how to, narrow down problems and find solutions to these problems that you are faced with in the workplace. Next career part, artificial, I'm not the title for this one, not showing, sorry. Yes, so this is IT. So the next career part you have is network engineering. What it really entails is like designing of network, managing the network, implementing and managing and maintain firewall, switch management, which you would learn these skills from your Cisco, your CCNA, or also from the the CompTIA A+ networking, right? Establishing and maintaining connectivity between devices and server, wireless network design and management. Another area, artificial intelligence, right? This really around persons who are interested in software coding and stuff like that. So it focuses on algorithm development, designing of application, developing of AI models, building predictive models, which is AI, which, you know, that's the king of the town now, which is artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning framework, manage project infrastructure, and developing of AI models. So this will also, in this capacity, you will be working as a team, develop machine learning models just the same. Another career part is data engineer. This one is a very interesting one because this one, in the past, we know it as a database administrator, which is really just to, you know, look at database. But now this industry is demanding more of the data. Before, we sit on data and data was just there, you know, we're gathering this data from the various means and nothing was being done with those data. But today, the industry demand analysis of the data, looking at the data to see how we can grow the business, where's the business making the wrong decision, looking at the actual data to make good business decision. As we said in the past, this was really focuses on just database management, where you just collect the data sits there, and, you know, you just used to do the day-to-day operation. But in today's industry, the data that you collect is doing more. So you do data mining as a data engineer, data classification, which this one is also a very important way how you can classify the data so you can apply a greater level of security and management of that data, developing the process, right? Data security and management, as we mentioned earlier, and data integration, which how do you take this data, right, and integrate it into other system and to get a better understanding of what is happening in the business and the industry altogether. Robotics engineering. This really is around automation. A lot of us, well, I'm not going to say a lot of us, but I know IT is normally dominated by males, and also as male, we are very interested in cars and stuff like that, the airline industry. Those industry are highly automated in terms of robotics, in terms of from the designing to the implementation and the manufacturing of the parts that is needed. So yes, with a degree from the vector, you can look to go into robotics engineering, which also depend on software development, because robotics needs software, need coding to operate. So in this area, you have developing the robotic application, debugging the robotics and robotic system, the management and maintenance of the robotics itself, system, installation, operate and calibration of this robotic systems. And you also, in this area, I just mentioned that you do have simulators, and simulators are also a part of robotics, because you have simulators that does crane operation, ship operation. In my previous job at the CMU, I can recall we had about 3 or 4 simulators. One was for ship, one was for crane. You have truck simulators, and this is really around robotic, because you have hardware component like hydraulics, stuff that will move the chairs, move the screen to give you that actual feel as if you're on a ship, whether it was a ship simulator or the crane simulator. Another area is business intelligence analyst. What this entails, right? Performing statistical system analysis of big data. big data classified as when you what we call it now, your fingerprint online. Once you go online, every website that you visit collects some form of data, right? What does the business do with that data? Give you an example. Google. Every time you enter Google, Google collects some form of data on you. What does Google do with that data? Google use that data to provide that data, sorry, to other businesses to say, hey, you know, Dorian searched for this, he's interested in this, and they can do what is called targeted marketing with based on your search history and your search pattern, right? So in this role, you're looking at interpreting the data, right? Looking at the legal parameters of the data, because a lot of countries are now putting more stringent regulation in place as to protect their citizen data. So being in this field, you also, the business also depending on you to understand what are the legal parameters around using this data that the business would have collected. What kind of data can the business collect and stuff and so forth. Examine and identify anomalies in data, because anomalies is some of the key things that you're looking for in data, right? Because anomalies are how would I put it now? Was what makes you different. That's a targeting. What is different? What is happening with this data? Why is this data different from the other form of the data? What can we use this data to do? Right? So that's pretty much it. As I said, I didn't want to choose. There's a lot of area. I just choose 6 just to give you an idea of what is there in the industry and what are in high demand. And you can ask any question you like. Thank you.
All right, Dorian, and I especially like the fact that you highlight some of the buzz ones, because persons tend to go off them, you know. But you see, the thing about IT is that it might be buzzing. For some other industry, it might fade, but it becomes our buzz thing is reality and is the future. So thank you for that one. All right. So someone is asking about all right. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna ask that you just make a note of the presenters, what questions you'd like to ask of them, because at the end of the presentations, we're going to have an open floor question and answer session that you can direct your questions at whichever presenter you wish, right? So Miss Allen, you want to come again and do the introduction for both Mr. Rajiv Atkinson and Mrs. Anastasia Johnson, right, who are both graduates of the BSICT programs, and they'll be speaking to you from the standpoint of being a graduate of Vector.
Okay, thanks, Andre. So we will start with Mr. Rajiv Atkinson. He describes himself as technically skilled and passionately driven. He is the founder and CEO of Blue One IP Services. He started out playing the role of IT technician fixing his own computer, and he therefore developed an interest in IT and thereafter engaged in studies in information and communication technology. His professional journey took him through various capacities, including systems administrator, senior systems engineer, IT manager, chief technical officer, and now chief executive officer. He holds a bachelor's degree in information and communication technology from the Great Vector, along with the CCNA and more recently VMware certifications as he continues his academic pursuits. He has forged alliances with some of the best in the IT industry and has paved a competitive advantage in serving his clientele at the highest levels. Help me welcome Mr. Rajiv Atkinson.
Thank you, Miss Allen. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to Dr. Marr. Um, good evening, Mrs. Marr, Miss Marr, um, lecturers, fellow graduates, fellow speakers, and potential candidates. Good evening. Miss Allen, that person sounds rich that you mentioned. Let me assure you that's not the case. But um, unlike Dorian, I don't have a presentation to share. I'm just going to speak on my journey throughout the vector years and my career, as well as just to let you guys know that uh, I'm proud to be a part of this. I'm very proud of Dorian. Dorian and I were in the same year for the degree for the biscuit program. So I'm very proud of him. Congratulations, Dorian. I mean, well presented, and I see you doing very well. I mean, we still share chat groups, so the camaraderie, the networking is there, and that's what you build from Vector. You have a network of support, a network of talent, and the resources are almost endless. So, again, thank you for having me this evening. I'd just like to say, though, for Vector and for me, and for you, for the potential candidates, everyone's success is not charted on the same water, right? So what Vector does and the diversity, the diverse portfolio that they have is allow you to really select a suitable course of study that aligns more closely with your career objectives, right? As well as the flexibility it gives you in terms of whether full-time, part-time, in terms of even just the payment structure. A lot of us are working full-time and attending school part-time. So it's not easy to pay full-time tuition, right? So Vector allows us to, split the costs here and there and work with you to give you the best options and provide you with a manageable opportunity to enhance your studies, right? So when you think of Vector, think of where you are and where you want to be. Think of the pace at which you want to move, and the budget with which you have to spend, or the budget that you're working with, right? All of these factors encompass the opportunity and the presentation that Vector gives you to enhance your career and have a very fruitful and rewarding experience in school, right? Because for me, what was the driving point was the type of courses that are done, the type of degrees, the type of programs. They are very technical programs. So for me, starting 11 years ago, where I did my CCNA, I was, I guess, in the same position where you are, and I decided to pursue the CCNA, not realizing that how technical and how beneficial it was. Because when I went on to do my degree, it afforded me to bypass some of the courses, right? So it also cut the degree time down a bit, which is what Andre mentioned earlier, where the start from the diploma upwards. So your degree time is shortened based on the courses that you choose, right? So the other thing is so I finished my CCNA, and with that brought a lot of opportunity for me to move from role to role. So working as a system engineer, I was able to apply for a network engineering job, which, as you know, you're going to be moving roles and career paths, different companies. And with that CCNA certificate, it opened the opportunity for me to enhance my career as well as earn more, and then afforded me to move on to my other study, which was the degree program, right? Now, a lot of us, especially in today, with all these industry standard certificates, people are still questioning if you need a degree. And for me, the answer is yes, right? Because especially now being an employer, I am looking now for structure, longevity, and the ability for people to stick with the company, as well as understand that they are driven and they are committed for the long term. That's what the degree teaches us. The degree tells me that you, as a person or an employee, is able to commit for a specific period of time, whether it's 4 years typically. So you are able to commit through studies and able to commit to completing tasks and create longevity, right? That's one of the things for the degree. So previously, I wasn't a fan of, hey, I don't need a degree. All I need is certificates. But as you look to enhance your career and move up in certain positions, it becomes necessary, because some employers, when they look at your resume, if the degree is not there, you won't even be considered for an application. And that's just some, right? But the truth is, some of the more prestigious positions, if you are not invited at the table, you won't be able to eat. So that's the truth, right? Also, my life over the last 11 years have come full circle with Vector, right? I've just completed, I think they offered the VMware certificate in the VMware Certified Professional, the VCP, and I just completed that course with Mr. Brown, right? So that just shows you the confidence and the comfort that I had with Vector in terms of over the last 11 years. I've come full circle, still studying, still wanting to be a part of technology, still wanting to increase and enhance my skills, my technical abilities, and become more marketable in the industry, right? So these programs that Vector offer are not just for today, they are long term, and they create this. Vector creates this culture of like a homely environment for between the lecturers and the students, right? We Mr. Lloyd Brown and I have been in communication. We share on projects. So now that I have also my own managed service company, I look to Vector for talent in providing IT support to my clients. I also encourage internship. So if there's the opportunity, I try to give back as much as I can, right? So, and with Vector being in the industry and where I am in terms of providing IT services, the collaboration has been very fruitful. I'm also right now working, hopefully in the future, to provide some lecture service to the institution based on just the relationship that I've developed over the years with Dr. Marr, Miss Marr, and the lecturers. So, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to share this evening. That yeah, my life has come full circle with Vector. I have no regrets, no qualms in recommending it. I'm gonna share my email with the members of the team if there's any potential interest for anything, any questions. I'm always here to listen. I'm always here to give a helping hand and give back. So I want to thank you again for the opportunity to share this, and looking forward to pursuing more courses with you guys as well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rajiv. Thank you. Speaking from that, and I appreciate that. All right. Thank you very much. Miss Allen, again, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Andre. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about the next contributor. She is Mrs. Anastasia Johnson. Mrs. Johnson is, among other things, an accomplished professional, a dedicated Christian, an IT consultant and contractor, managing director of the innovative company Finesse Mobile Detailers, senior manager at the Wound Pros, a global leader in wound care. She's a proud alumna of Vector, having begun the journey in July 2017. She earned a diploma and an associate in computer systems technology, followed by the bachelor's in information and communication technology. And these served to lay a strong foundation for her career, in which she is leveraging the skills and knowledge she gained at Vector to navigate the rapidly evolving world of information and communication technology. These qualifications have been instrumental in shaping her expertise and success in the field, providing her with a robust foundation in analytics and strategic execution. Her technical proficiency, combined with her ability to manage complex projects, has earned her recognition in various professional circles. Without any further ado, I hand you over to Mrs. Johnson. Welcome, Mrs. Johnson.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Allen, for that introduction. Thank you. And good evening, President Dr. Marr, Executive Director, Mrs. Bruce, esteemed lecturers, the dedicated administration team, and of course, our wonderful new students and returning students, and also the graduates who would have spoken earlier. I first want to say thank you to the team at Vector Technology Institute, for inviting me to share my experience with all of you today. It is truly an honor to speak prospective students who are, considering taking a step that could significantly shape their future, just as it did for me. So first, let me say how thrilled I am to be here with all of you today. I remember sitting in your shoes not too long ago, filled with excitement and maybe a little bit of anxiety as well, but what was to come. So to kick things off, here's a little joke to lighten the mood. If you're ever feeling like you're not smart enough to be here, just remember Albert Einstein once said, the difference between stupidity and the genius is that genius has its limits. So you are already ahead of the game because you are here. Now, let me get real with you for a moment. My journey at Vector Technology Institute began in 2017, as Mrs. Allen would have alluded earlier, and it was no walk in the park. The courses were very rigorous. The expectations were extremely high from the institution and the lecturers, and the workload was also heavy. There were many sleepless nights, juggling work, study, and professional commitments. I faced a lot of challenges that tested my limits, and moments when I completely felt overwhelmed and wondered if I could actually make it through. But as they say, smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. And believe me, the seas were anything but smooth. Balancing work and study was one of the toughest challenges I faced. There were countless times I felt like giving up, but you know what? I didn't. And you know why I didn't? Because I wasn't alone. One of the greatest strengths of Vector is the sense of community that you will find here. And I heard the speaker earlier spoke about the camaraderie that he was able to still foster, even though he's no longer a student at Vector. The friendships that I formed with my peers became my lifeline, to the point where we had a group where we called it the Bonafide Group. We supported each other through every single hurdle, celebrated each small victories, and yes, even shed a few tears together. It was those late night group studies, those shared moments of frustration and the collective desire to succeed that got me through the toughest of times. I have to admit, when I just started Victor, I came as a shy, introverted student, and I'm sure that my lecturers, Mr. Brown, I see you're still here, sir, and I am sure you can speak to this. And even Mrs. Mara Bruce, you can also speak to this. Public speaking was not my forte. And the thought of presenting in front of others were very intimidating. But, through the daily and weekly presentations we were required to do, I slowly began to discover my voice. The consistent practice and the constructive feedback from lecturers who believed in my potential helped me build confidence. It was through their support and encouragement that I found myself becoming more comfortable with public speaking. This growth has been invaluable in my career. Today, I can confidently interview world-class clinicians and high-level managers and IT professionals, facilitate meetings and host global events, things I never ever imagined that I could and would be doing when I first started here at Vector. Team collaboration was key. We learned to rely on one another, to share our knowledge, and to push each other to do better. There's a powerful quote that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. Well, I can proudly say at Vector, you will go far because you will not be going alone. You will have the support of your classmates, and you will also have the support of your lecturers. Your president, Dr. Mar, is very, very active and integral. Our exec director, Mrs. Bruce, and the admin team who genuinely want to see you succeed. They were there for us, providing guidance, encouragement, and sometimes just a listening ear. Vector's comprehensive curriculum and hands-on approach prepared me for the real world in ways that I could not ever imagine in 1,000 years. The technical skills I gained from understanding complex computer systems to effectively managing projects and improving customer service satisfaction have been invaluable. Vector also taught me essential project management skills, enabling me to lead cross-functional teams, develop strategic initiatives, and to oversee various projects with precision and confidence. Additionally, the emphasis on time management was particularly beneficial. Learning how to balance multiple priorities and manage my time efficiently have been crucial in my roles as co-founder and managing director of Finesse Mobile Retailers, my company, and as a senior manager at the Wound Pros, a global leader in the wound care hemisphere. Today, I leverage the knowledge and experience gained from Vector to navigate complex challenges, drive growth, and foster a culture of continuous improvement within my team. When I started at the Wound Pros, we were just 20 plus employees. Today, we're well over 1,000 employees. And it's through the project management skills that I learned here at Vector and the strategical, critical thinking aspects that helped me to oversee the talent acquisition department. I knew zero about, but because of Vector, I was able to go and do what was required of me, taking on projects even without having the required skill sets. Whether it's building strong relationship with clients and stakeholders or ensuring customer satisfaction, the education I received here has been a cornerstone of my success as an ICT consultant and also contractor working with international clients. So yes, there's a lot of stuff that I have on my plate, working with company full-time, managing my own company, and also doing consultation and contracting works and projects. For those of you still wondering if you have made the right choice to choose Vector, I encourage you to take this opportunity to invest in your future. The programs offered here are designed not just to educate, but to prepare you to make a meaningful impact in your chosen field. Trust the process, engage fully, and know that you are in capable hands. So my advice to you is to stay focused, set your goals, and keep your eyes on the prize. Don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it is from your peers, your lecturers, or even those on the outside of the classroom. Take care of yourself. Find time for the things that bring you joy and help you to recharge. And most importantly, believe in yourself. You are here for a reason, and you have what it takes to succeed. Remember, the path ahead won't always be easy, but it will be worth it. The sleepless nights, the rigorous coursework, and the moments of doubt, they are all a part of the process. And trust me, when you finally hold that diploma or that degree in your hand, every single tear, every single moment of exhaustion and frustration will be worth it. You are about to embark on a journey that will not only challenge you, but will also shape you into the professional you are meant to become. Thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best as you embark on this exciting journey. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. How is baby Vector?
She's doing exceptionally well. She's managing the house. She's the boss of the house. She's doing
Okay.
great.
Okay, so that was a little bit of an inside Vector joke. So to get persons this Mrs. Johnson, she's one half of a Johnson unit. Both her and her husband were students at the same time and graduated the same time. With really good succession rate. During the time they had a baby. So that is why I was, making mention about baby Vector. All right. But thanks. You know, I am especially, we have done quite a number of these information session, and what makes me proud about this is because a significant most of us as speakers that you would have been hearing from, including myself as the moderator, are graduates of Vector. And when you can put together something like this that can actually speak to the volume of the talent that really and truly comes out of the institution, and no matter how small institution, they will actually make great impact out there in the world and in the field. So thank you guys. Thank you very much. I'm extremely proud of you guys. Trust me. I'm feeling a sense of pride. I don't know about Dr. Mara and Mrs. Bruce, right? But I'm sure as two parent figure at Vector, I'm sure they might feel a little bit heartwarm right now, right? So without any further ado, I'm going to actually ask Mrs. Bruce now to come as the executive director and chiefly the person that oversees some of the financial stuff at Vector, and can actually give you some insight as to how you can go ahead and finance your education while you're attending Vector, speak about like our payment plans and so on. So without any further ado, our executive director, and trust me, when I tell you about mother figure, when I tell you about open door policy, when I tell you about caring, being so involved. So literally, she will make you feel at home. So Mrs. Bruce, I think that's the biggest accolade I can give you in terms of being a mother figure.
Thank you very much, Andre. Thank you very much. Our graduates here today reflects the fruits of our vision, started over 25 years ago. It is so good to actually see and hear from our graduates and where they all are now. And we are more than proud to have been a part of your journey. Pertaining to my topic, I'd like to ask a question. Are money spent on your education an expense or an investment? As young people, you must learn to prioritize the development of your whole being. Jeff Cobb wrote about the topic, are your offerings an expense or an investment? It's an essential question to ask about you as students, how you perceive your own participation in your own professional development activities, as well as how we at Vector Tech perceive our prospective students' participation in our organization's offerings. When you view something as an expense, your expectations will be relatively low. An expense may be deemed to be simply a transaction in which you give something, usually money, in exchange for something we can call stuff. Sometimes it's stuff we keep, sometimes it's stuff we consume, whether literally or figuratively. Either way, we don't really expect the stuff to grow in value. And I dare say it normally does not. Females may buy your hair, spend a lot on nails, on your makeup, but when you wash it all away, it just goes, and it's just plain you left. Spending it on your education, the knowledge is still within you. The skills you learn are still within you. You cannot wash this away, and this will be an investment which will grow in value as you make yourself more marketable. So an investment is different. By definition, we expect an investment to grow in value. We put in our money or put in our time and whatever other resource specifically because we hope to get more back than what we put in. We seek what we call a return on our investment, and we usually are disappointed if we don't get a good one. When we treat education as an expense, we tend to focus on price. We focus on features. We want a quid pro quo, a clear sense that the stuff we get is equal to the money we pay. Notably, it is only when education is viewed like this, that is, as an expense, that we will hear, oh, that the course is deemed to be expensive. When we treat education as an investment, on the other hand, price is never normally the main consideration. A person wanting to be skilled and knowledgeable in certain technologies will view education as an investment and are often willing to pay much more than what they would pay for education that they perceive to be an expense. We can see and we believe in the change the educational experience is capable of creating within you, within your cognitive development, making yourself more marketable, making yourself to be more attractive to employers. You let your qualifications and certifications speak for you. As learners, that means you believe in who you are buying from. And it also crucially means you believe in yourself. On the other hand, for Vector Tech, it means we believe in our learners. And also it means, again, critically, that we believe in ourselves and in the value we're offering to our students. Now step back for a second and think about your own professional development plans for this year. Because one thing for sure is that our curriculum development committee, in trying to keep abreast of technology, thinks about how our prospective learners, you, will perceive our offerings. Are the fees that you intend to find an expense or an investment? Which will it be? Your answers will speak volumes about your own future and the future of your learning experience that you are about to embark on. With the cost of college rising each year and questionable career prospects await college graduates, some people are wondering if a college education is still worth it. If you took all the monies you would spend on a college degree and invested it, would you come out ahead? Are college tuitions and student loans worth it? One of the ways to figure out if a degree is worth the money is to calculate the return on investment, the ROI, of a college education. We won't be examining how to calculate the return on investment at this point, but let us use a real-life scenario. If you and your friend were just leaving school and you both were given $800,000, you use it to pursue an associate degree program in ICT, and your friend spent it on a second-hand car. At the end of the program, you both went to seek a job in ICT. Who do you think would get the job? And who do you think would start earning a return on their $800,000? Also, it is shown that adults who complete tertiary education benefit from high returns on investment because they are more likely to be employed and to earn more than adults without a tertiary education. Let us look at the degrees with the best return on investment. In the US, according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers, the highest paying undergraduate majors, broadly defined for 2022, were computer science, engineering, maths and natural sciences, social sciences, business, agriculture and natural resources, communications, humanities. In Jamaica, the emerging industries and new career opportunities represent similar outcomes. Information technology is the best, as this has become the backbone of the 21st century. To be more specific, engineering, network infrastructure, data protection, mobile app development, project management, and now with the growing use of the internet, cybersecurity. Why studying and investment? Investing in education is not just the right move, but it leads to smart economies for the country. Economies that are well educated attract investors. Education leads a path towards health, empowerment, and employment. Evidence shows that each additional year of education boosts a person's income by 10% and increases a country's gross domestic product by 18%. Another question to ask is, how can you finance your education? Apart from putting some savings together and then plan to go to school while you continue to work, which was what most of our lecturers had to do, in today's environment, there are numerous scholarships and grants that no one applies for. Most students hardly ever seek out, and you have to ask yourself, why is that the case? Most banks and financial services organizations have, as part of their philanthropic strategic objectives, foundations that offer scholarships and grants on an annual basis. Example, BNS Foundation, NCB, Victoria Mutual, Sagicor, Betting Gaming and Lotteries Commission. Several of these organizations have given grants and scholarships to some of our students here, but you need to know about them. Public sector grants are also made available for public sector workers and their children. Student Loans Bureau. Everyone knows about the Student Loan Bureau, but one main hindrance to access was the fact that you had to have guarantors for your loans. Now they have advertised that this will no longer be a requirement. Now, Vector Technology Institute also has several internal payment plans, and Rajiv spoke about it. And I'm glad to hear from the other side that it really did work and help them. So I won't bother go back through that. Just that you heard about the plans, that you are given different options to pay over several months. So you just select, if you pay before, you get a discount. But if you are taking up the other options to pay in latter months, then their finance charges is expected and those will be applicable. So the first thing you should do is to examine the courses that are being offered. Select the program that you are interested in to see and what investment total it will be. You could start by doing your diploma, just like what Rajiv said. It was as if he was taking my speech. Start by doing your diploma, then go up to your associate, and then move into your full degree. Vector Tech's mantra is transforming education into careers. And so once you complete the diploma, the first year, this will prepare you to seek a job in IT. You need to also do your research by seeking out the various organizations that offer these scholarships or would provide grants. You have to identify what type of grants or scholarships are being offered. All of these are on the internet. Just type scholarships and it will be just there on the screen. You don't have to go anywhere. What are the requirements for eligibility? It will show you that. Start preparing a cover letter from now on, and then your a scholarship letter request. You can find different examples of these types of letters and start to prepare a formal one. You have to start way in advance. You may need to fill out an application form and take note of all that will be needed. Remember, you will be up against a lot of competition. Know something about the organization that you're applying to. It's embarrassing when they call you and you don't know anything about them. That is going to be a turn off. No, what is also important is that they always want their applicants to have had some community service. So join a church outreach program, join some social program, whether in school or your community. Once you have decided to make that investment into your development, you must be committed. And every obstacle that you face, and as our graduates says, it was very challenging. So you have to turn those challenges and then you can overcome them. But you have to be focused. You also have to apply to many entities. You can't just choose one and expect to get many out there. Apply to all of them. Finally, bear in mind that you will be expected to maintain a strong grade point average. You may not know what that is. Those of you who are not into the university sector right now, your grade point average is like having a strong one would like having, let's say, a grade like 80% throughout all of your courses. Now, many opportunities are out there, many. You just need the will to research and make it happen. And we do hope that those of you here will actually be a part of Vector, and we wish you all the best. Thank you very much also to the participants. It was very, very good to hear from you, and please do not stay away too long. Always just come and let us know. Come here, let us know what's going on. As Andre said, there is an open door policy. Just come right in. Just let them know you want to come and just visit Mrs. Bruce. Okay, thank you very much all.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Bruce. Thank you. So we're edging closer to finishing off. What I'm going to do is just ask Miss Allen, just real quick, to come and speak about just some of the requirements for qualification or your for enrollment. And of course, then we're going to go straight into the question and answer. So Miss Allen, once you finish speaking, you can just open up the floor for question and answer. And hopefully we can wrap this up in another 10 minutes or 15 minutes, so thereabout, right? We had really slated this to be like for 2 hours. We had started about 15 minutes late. So let us see just how best we can actually navigate that. All right. So Miss Allen, it's your turn to come and just speak on that, and then just open the floor for the question and answer session.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Andre, I will be quick, believe me. Okay, so real quickly, let me just run through what are the qualification entry requirements. we must let you know that VTI's minimum matriculation requirements are those prescribed by the University Council of Jamaica, which is the certifying body for all tertiary institutions in Jamaica. It's not willy-nilly, we have a guide that we use. So for our diploma, which as I mentioned earlier is the entry level, we have categories with full applicants, we have what we call provisional applicants, and we have mature applicants. For the diploma, we work with a minimum of 4 subjects at the CXC level or equivalent, and it must include English language and a numeric subject, and by that we mean mathematics or principles of accounts. The provisional applicant would be one who has 1 subject less than the required number for the diploma, which in this case is 4, or 1 less than the required compulsory subjects, which of course it's 2. That would be provisional applicants, and you are enrolled as provisional, and you are given a specific time period in which to satisfy that requirement for full matriculation. We have a category of mature applicants. These are those who are over the age of 25, and they may not have the minimum subject requirement, but they would have work experience, job responsibilities, technical qualifications, and competence, which would allow them to matriculate into Vector. For the associate, the only difference I'll highlight here is that it's a minimum of 5 subjects at the CXC level or equivalent, again, including English language and a numeric subject. So the same thing for provisional, the same thing for mature would apply for the associate. We get the next step up would be for the bachelor's. For that, we require that applicants should hold a Vector Tech associate degree in computer systems technology. We also have a category of the applicants with credentials that from external that equate to or exceed the Vector's associate program. We do consider those applicants, and what we do is we determine whether how the qualifications match up to Vector, and we also may request a brief interview. The other category is the advanced diploma that we mentioned earlier, the cybersecurity analyst, and for that, we require that applicants should hold a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Those would be the entry requirements. One other thing that we must mention, all candidates must be computer literate and have access to a computer and the internet. I'm explaining here what I had said earlier, CXC or the equivalent. And the equivalent areas are for CXC, of course, the minimum is a grade 3. For GCE O levels, it's a minimum of a grade C, letter grade C. For City and Guilds, the minimum level is a stage 4. So we take stage 4 and 5. For the secondary school certificate, the minimum is a level 4. And for the ULCI, the minimum is a pass. Those are the equivalents to which I referred earlier. Okay, so how do we apply and register? We submit the completed application form, which is available, downloadable from our website or from on campus in our admissions office. That is submitted along with a valid government issued ID or a birth certificate, the original proof of qualifications. By that, we mean if you have a diploma, if you have your CXC subjects, your CAPE subjects, all the other things we mentioned earlier. For that, we do not accept preliminary slips. And the reason for that is, as is stated on the preliminary slip, there is the possibility that the grade could be adjusted when the final certificate is given. So of course adjusted could mean adjusted upwards, adjusted downwards. So that's the reason we do not accept preliminary slips. In those instances, we ask a transcript, the letter from CXC, those things can be submitted. The other thing, we need 2 identical passport size photos. And then we ask that you pay the application fee, which as it is now is just 1,000 Jamaican dollars. So what are the next steps? We process your application, and in doing so, we may have to verify the documents externally. We may have to verify the grades. We schedule an admissions interview during which we do a further assessment. Following the interview and the assessment, we send you an email, the successful applicant, and in that email, you would get the registration instructions, the next steps, what you need to pay, and what you need to do thereafter. And then you're ready to roll. I thank you for your attention. The floor is now open. Any questions of any of us? Mr. Moderator, over to you.
All right, thank you, Miss Allen. So it was a packed 2 hours plus. The information, I'm hoping that it would have inched you closer to making a decision. Believe me when I say to you that you opting to having an interest in IT is something that will pay off for the rest of your life. Trust me, because you see the direction in which the world has been going for forever, since the invention of the PC, for those who are not, or maybe not old enough to understand. But to legitimize the argument, you just have to look around you right now. You just have to look around you right now, and then you'll see it. Any little thing that you're looking at, made possible by IT or ICT, right? So we're basically opening the floor right now for questions. I remember someone had a question earlier asking about believe it's the cybersecurity. I'm not sure if we could make or get a little bit more clarification in terms of specifics, right? When you were mentioning about that, right? If that person is still here with us, you could just open your mic and ask a question, or any question of the respective speakers that we have had here tonight. I think it's Javine Williams, if you're still here.
I think he was asking Andre if, because Dorian shared the trending position, the trending roles, he was asking what about cybersecurity?
Okay.
Analyst.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. one and all. Yeah, hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, hi, good evening again. Yeah, I was seeing what the gentleman stated, like I was asking if that's really in his opinion, if that's the leading trend right now, because in based on what I'm seeing here, to me, in my opinion, it's trendy to me. So I just wanted to ask, like in his opinion, if cyber security analysis if that's really a trendy occupation right now.
Dorian, you want to address?
Yes. Afternoon again, everyone. Yes, cybersecurity is a trending. As I said earlier, I just selected three of the not so common trendy area because cybersecurity has been around a long time, and it's still one of the dominant area in terms of IT. What you find with cybersecurity though is that that area is a more saturated area. So it's a little harder area to get in because of the availability of cybersecurity experts. So yes, it's an available area. It's still a dominant area, but it's a area that is much harder to break into.
Yeah, and just to add to that, whenever time you're making a decision to go to really and truly undertake higher learning, right? Higher education, basically tertiary level education. You need to be looking at trends or any type of career choices that will be relevant 10 years down the road, 20, 15 years. You understand? So you have to look at what is growing now and what is germinating right now that will actually balloon into something. So you want to be able to position yourself in a good enough space that you can benefit from when that ballooning start taking place. So for example, just as he said, cybersecurity has been around for a little bit, right? But it has parachuted now to the point where it is still in demand. Yes, it will always be in demand. Why? Because just like how you have the physical security or the need for physical security for like a building or anything like that, the more you have the increase in activities that are taking place online and so on, the more the society start to get cashless, the more you have all of these things taking place, the more you will have the demand for security. You understand? And especially when it comes on to this whole idea of protection of data, personal data and all these things. So it will always be there. It will always be there. So and I'm agreeing with Dorian because that's whenever time I go to any high schools, because I participate in marketing activities for Vector to go to like career day functions and so on. I always leave that bit of advice with the students to say that, listen, don't look at what is trending now, because you are going to be studying for another 4 years, right? And then within maybe about another, so in order for you to maybe gain the experience as you go on and so on, you'll spend a significant amount of time. So you find that especially in IT right now, where things change so rapidly, what might be relevant 5-10 years ago might not be relevant today. You understand? So you have to position yourself, and that is why you always have to be relearning and doing the certification that will actually get you marketable and keep you up to date with what is happening within the space. So I endorse what Dorian was saying and applaud the efforts to really and truly highlight the ones that are not so much of a buzz right now and persons are not looking towards. Any other question? Any other question? You'd have gotten a wealth of information and shared experiences and so on. Any other concerns?
There's a question in the chat, Andrew.
Sorry, let me just, for some reason I was hoping that they would open the mic, but all right then, so good night. If I start off by trying to pursue an associate degree in computer systems technology, does that mean that if I finish a half of it, like 1 year, I can put on my resume and I have a diploma. Yeah, no, listen, this is what happens. You need to, in order for you to decide that you're going to be putting it on your resume to say you have a diploma, you need to have that certificate that is saying that you have achieved the diploma. So in other words, you would actually graduate from the diploma, right? Or after the first year, and then you'll be able to do that. Then all that needs to happen, you don't even have to go through the reapplication process. Just indicate, or there's the process of even getting qualified or to be enrolled in the associate degree. It's less, I don't want to use the word tedious because nothing about the application process is tedious, but it's less action that is required to move on to the associate degree. So even if you start off by applying for the associate degree, so technically you apply for the associate degree, you're not expecting to get that certificate in your hand until after the 2 years. But if you want the diploma, what we advise is that you graduate from the diploma, which is after a year, and then of course apply to do the associate degree, right? So if you want that type of modularity and the ability to be able to put it on your resume and have something to say you have a diploma in computer systems technology, then that is the best option in order for you to navigate that. So you could, so after the year you graduate from it and you have a diploma, and then you can put on your resume that, hey, you have the associate degree, which is you're currently pursuing or something like that, to that effect. So I'm hoping that answers your question.
Hi, good night again. Quick request. If he doesn't mind, could Dorian just place the 6 trendy IT jobs in the chat for me, please?
All right, Dorian, you heard that?
No, sorry, can you repeat?
What he's asking, the trending jobs that you're looking at, and so
Yep.
on. If you could just put all 6 of them in the chat. So I guess you want to make
What I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna share my email with you, and you can email me because I'm driving at the moment and I wouldn't be able to type it in the chat.
Okay.
All right, so I'll try and share my email in the chat, and you can just shoot me an email, and we can, keep in dialogue on it.
All right. Any other question? Any other concern? Anything to share?
Yes, good night. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
All right. In regards to the question that was posed earlier about having the diploma certification, during the time you're pursuing the associates, the person made mention that all you'd have to do is to graduate from that program, and then you'd reapply to continue the associates. My question is, would that attract any additional cost?
Any additional cost to apply?
Yeah, because what you're saying is because the original idea was to do the associates, but if you want the diploma doing all of this, you'd say you'd have to graduate from the program. So what I'm saying is, what would there be any additional cost to that?
Miss Allen, I'm not 100% sure. But Miss Allen, are you able to
No, there
speak to
wouldn't
that?
be an additional cost. What you have the opportunity to do is to request the diploma, as in the certificate. So you could request the diploma because your original application was to do the associate. But at a point in time, you're doing the associate, but for some reason you want to get that diploma certificate, you would not need to reapply unless you put in writing that you are requesting to be withdrawn from the associate. But once you applied to do the associate, you were accepted and enrolled to do the associate. then no, there wouldn't be any additional cost.
Maybe the term graduate is what is maybe throwing you off, because a lot of times persons here graduate, they have to think about a ceremony or maybe what.
Exactly, the
Right,
ceremony.
but
So
when
that's not
so,
it.
yeah, so in other words, when we say graduate from it, as in you have made the decision to say
Completed.
you're completing and closing out that program.
All right.
Okay, thank you. That cleared it up for me.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No?
Or any comments anybody would like to make?
One question from Jean-Luc. I mean, anybody can answer this, but was really posed to Dorian, but anyone of the staff can answer this one. Read the 6 jobs or any other jobs. How or where can we go to find like IT jobs that are available in Jamaica? That's my question.
All right. I'll take that question. So the first thing I want to say to you, IT is borderless, right? And in today's world, it doesn't matter where you actually reside, right? So don't limit yourself for a job in Jamaica, because you can be in Jamaica and still perform the function and duties of a job anywhere in the world. That's one. Two, jobs, Jamaica, and one of the reasons I'm saying don't limit yourself to Jamaica, because yes, Jamaica itself, as it relates to technology and stuff, we are at a good place in technology. But what you find that a lot of the jobs, in terms of the job title and the career part, they're still pretty much limited to the traditional areas, right? So what you want to do is to try to think outside of Jamaica. Yes, Jamaica is a good place to start. You'll land your first job as a system administrator and get the experience from there. But and another place you can, in terms of to have an idea in terms of what are the career opportunities that exist, is really our friendly Google. YouTube, you can follow a lot of what you call mentors are on Google who will tell you of the emerging jobs, the career path that having a high succession rate in terms of. So don't limit yourself to Jamaica, and use the tools that are available to us. Use your Google, use your YouTube, look what is out there, look what is trending, look and see what are the requirements or the skill set need to break into those areas and career path.
All right. Yeah, I think Rajiv.
Would that have answered? Yeah.
Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Well, yes. I guess you were saying that don't really limit yourself looking in Jamaica. But I guess more of what I was looking for was if there were like any recruitment agencies or places where you could go specifically to see where jobs are. But I think he answered the yeah, it was a good answer. Thank you.
All right. Rajiv, you want to make an addition?
Yeah, I was thanks, Andre. I was just gonna say add to what Dorian was saying, right? And to answer a little more for the request. Usually, Caribbean jobs is a good place where you can find jobs for Jamaica, right? Because you can filter it by territory, by country, and you can filter it by the job roles. And LinkedIn is another one, and also on the Sunday Glean or the career section, right? Also, what I would recommend for you or for anyone that's looking for a job is do not get intimidated by the title. Look at the requirements for the job, because sometimes employers try to fancy up the title, right? But the requirements for the job are basic requirements. So
Yeah.
don't be intimidated by the title of the position, right? That's one of the things I learned. I learned it early because I mean I didn't always have a degree, so I was one of them that was intimidated by position, by title. But after when I started applying, I realized that hey, I can get the interview because I have the requirements. You understand? So don't be intimidated by that, and you can check on those resources for positions that are available here in Jamaica.
Yeah. You said something, you know, I lost my train of thought, you know. Oh my God. When it comes back. But I wanted to add something to what you had said, Rajiv, but I lost it. But outside of that, Mrs. Johnson, she's sharing in the chat some areas that you can actually go and look. You have remote jobs, some websites and stuff, resource sites that you can actually go to find some jobs, remote jobs. Upwork. Upwork is one that I know personally because I did like freelancing work on that website. Very good. And then you have Indeed, LinkedIn that was suggested earlier as a means of networking. All right, good. That is what I wanted to make a point on. You heard in the middle of the introduction with Dr. Mara mention something regarding the Jamaica Computer Society. As IT practitioners, you need to form alliances with institutions, fellow classmates, or co-workers, whatever it is, form alliances that can really and truly pay off. Networking is a big thing, and the Jamaica Computer Society is one of those clubs and society basically that that has like an alliance of persons, computer or IT practitioners in the field, right? So they keep regular seminars, regular networking functions and so on that you can actually go to. And it doesn't, they actually have a registration fee for both students and professionals. And so therefore, once you're a member, you have access to these events that you can actually go. You'll get reduced rate in the case that you have to pay to go to an event or so on. One of the associated big events that I know that they'll help to put on is one that is called Tech Beach. Tech Beach is like a premier IT function or seminar or that takes place over the space of like 3-4 days. It's almost like I would want to pair it almost like with like a Silicon Valley type or networking type of situation. They usually have top persons from like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, the top IT companies that you can think about in the world usually come and make presentations and so on at these functions and so on, from Apple, IBM, you name it, right? So that is another thing that you can actually do, right? That is another thing that you can actually do to help you to get your feet wet and to get at least one foot in through the door by doing, networking. So yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to maybe add to the whole thing, right? Ryan Dwyer was asking a question, right? So I'm about to start the associate degree in software programming. Do you think AI, as in artificial intelligence, will affect the job market in and around that field? I want is Mr. James, you're still here? I'm going to throw that question to you, Mr. James.
Yes. Right. So I think Dorian had made a presentation and he had pointed out the job requirement where AI is that had a lot of AI there. So yes, AI is as you saw from his presentation, there's job available in AI.
No, what he's asking,
Yeah.
as a student that is about to do the associate degree in software programming, if AI will affect that job market or the programming market, then so to speak.
So, well, AI is up and coming, so it is a growing field. Not sure what exactly out there now, but in the future it will be growing, definitely. Opportunities will be there. Yeah. And again, as I said, we're in a borderless society. So, you know, in countries abroad, there will be more established jobs concerning AI available.
Ryan,
Andre, sorry, Andre, if you don't mind, let me add to that. So what I would say to you, Ryan, is that don't be afraid of technology. And yes, artificial intelligence will definitely affect the career path, but it will affect it in a positive way. Because you do have to remember that the technology cannot create itself. It needs humans, right? So the base codes and to fine tune those stuff is still need human intervention, and that's the reason why IT will always have a place for human in the field of IT, in the space in which we operate. So yes, artificial intelligence is really focused on end user result and not the developer. So you still need a human intervention in terms of developing it. And remember, to develop the AI, you need the skill set of coding, writing of software and stuff like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Excellent.
So I figured that is where he was coming from, you know, having the fear that AI might replace some jobs. But as IT practitioners and proponents, we should never be slave to that thought, right? We know exactly what is required. So maybe what might happen is just the shift in which you interact, because now you'd have to learn more greater prompting techniques and all those things in order to get the desired outcomes that you want. And as you say, programming is at the heart of that. So I'm not seeing programming being impacted in any way, shape, or form, right? Because at the end of the day, at the back end of stuff, you know, the technology needs us. Any other questions? Any other question or comment? All right. So thank you again. Thank you again. As I said, I'm especially proud of this session because of the level of involvement with you know, the alumni, and you know, really and truly, it really speaks volume. So thank you one and all for sparing us your time to come and listen in and to get further insights into the program. And as I said to you, I really hope that the information garnered this evening would be put to use and you know, geared towards your personal development. Right. In closing, thanks, Dr. Mar, our president. Thank you, Mrs. Bruce, our executive director. Thanks to the administrative team and members of the faculty. Thank you, past students of Vector and prospective and current students of Vector. Thank you, guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening. The session was being recorded, so if there's what we tend to do is try to share the recordings with persons who would have registered to be a part of the session. So that will be sent out as well in terms of a link that you can access the recordings and so on. So thank you very much, and you have or enjoy the rest of the evening, right? Have a pleasant night and take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.
Okay, bye.